ask me to talk.
And welcome to another edition of Don't Ask Me to Talk. I'm one of your podcast pals. I'm Eric Ryder.
Hey, I'm the other one. I'm Stacy Heller. Welcome back.
Hey, thanks so much. Yeah, and this is for eagle-eared listeners, or what's an animal that hears well? Like wolf-eared listeners, maybe?
I don't know.
Wombat-eared listeners.
Sure.
We don't have the equivalent to eagle-eyed listener, eagle-eyed something. You know what I mean? So.
For people with excellent hearing.
Yes. Yeah. This show may sound a little different. It's because we're both doing the show from our homes. And that is because we're in the middle of travel adventures. I just got back from my European vacation, and you're just about to embark on your European vacation. And you also just got back from back east. So just like we managed to find an hour to schedule a little combo in there for the show. So
totally. Well, you know, the East Coast trip was, you know, sort of like whatever. We all know how that's going to go. We're visiting family. But the European trip with the girlfriend and the shows and the did they stay someplace on that night in Paris or wherever you were, or were they on the streets? Like, inquiring minds need to know.
Yes. Where do I start?
Well, the beginning.
Okay, let's see. The beginning. Yeah, so...
I mean, okay, quick overview. Let's do the roses and thorns, and then we'll get into specifics.
The roses and thorns?
Haven't you ever heard of that?
No.
Yeah, you talk about, like, the best and worst parts, and then we can get into the nitty-gritty. So, like, what was the single worst moment, and what was, like, the best that you're going to be like savoring on like bacon in your back tooth for weeks?
Yeah. Bacon in my back tooth. It's getting really weird.
Now, remember me?
Yes. Yeah, let's see. Single worst. You know, it probably the worst thing probably was when we arrived in Paris, and I still had not gotten confirmation about the apartment that we were staying in. And so I was still nervous about the check-in time because I never got clarification of whether it was okay to check in at 10:30 at night because of the listing on I think I used Priceline to book it, and the listing said check in after 11 o'clock at night. But if you're going to arrive after 9 o'clock, you got to let us know or we'll cancel you.
Right. It's such a weird specific.
So the night before, I was in Glasgow in the hotel room talking to Priceline customer service saying, hey, listen, I haven't gotten any information on this place yet. I think this must be a scam because they're not responding. And they're like, oh, don't worry. We'll call them and we'll just let them know of your arrival time. And it should be fine. And I'm like, well, we're getting in at 10:30 at night in Paris. If I don't have a place to stay, this is not going to be ideal. And they're like, oh, yes, I understand. But because we have to give the property 2 full days to respond. That's our policy. I'm like, 2 full days? Jeez, we'll be halfway through our stay there.
Right.
And we were on the street, apparently. and so, yeah, so I spent like at least an hour on the phone talking to them. And then they said, okay, well, we can't get a hold of them. So we're going to try again in 2 hours. So you can call us back. So I'm like, oh, great. This is I love spending my vacation making appointments to talk to customer service. So I 2 hours later called back, and I said, "Hey,
They're
listen."
like, new phone, who dis?
Yes, I said, "Hey, listen, I was talking to somebody there. They were going to call this property that I've got booked and confirm that it was okay to check in at 10:40 at night. Was anybody able to get a hold of them?" And they transferred me through a bunch of people to get to somebody that I had talked to, and they said yes, we could not get a hold of them, but
That's
but
like the ultimate European thing. Like,
yes.
yes, we cannot.
Yes, yes. Well, I think this company is based in Singapore now, so it's extra layer
Right.
of weirdness, and I think they're outsourcing their customer service to India, so it's a real global thing, a
Sure.
global community here that we're involving for this confusion. Um, so I went to bed not knowing if we when we land in Paris. So this was Sunday night, and Monday we were flying out. And I got an email like Monday morning saying, "Hey, we contacted somebody. They said the check in is before 11 o'clock is fine. So you should be good." And I'm like, okay, great. This does not fill me with confidence, because I still hadn't gotten anything from the property itself.
Right.
So we land in Paris, and I am like, well, we better take an Uber rather than the train, because if the train's going to push us over past 11 o'clock, and I can't take the risk of, a 4-day booking just being canceled with no refund, and us having to like suddenly find a place to stay. So I paid
Mm-hmm.
extra for the Uber, and we were able to get right there, which was really nice. But then nobody was there.
Mm.
and I luckily there was a knocker on the door, and so I knocked on the door, and then a couple guys came out that were also staying in an apartment there, and they're like, "Oh, hey." I'm like, "Hey, we're checking in." They're like, "Okay, well,
Cool.
we don't work here. We're staying here, but you know we can maybe put you in touch with the people that sent us the information to check in." I'm like, okay, great, because I haven't received anything yet. And so, luckily, these guys were the nicest guys. It was two French guys. One was a French Canadian guy
Ooh.
on vacation, and one was a guy from another part of France.
Okay.
And they were so nice. And one of the guys called the number that he had for customer service, and he showed me the link where they had sent him all the info to check in. And by the way, it was just a code. So the whole timing thing was just a complete red herring. Could have checked in at any time.
Oh my gosh.
So he was able to get on the phone with the customer service that had helped him, and they were able to write down our code for our apartment, and the code for the front door and the Wi-Fi and everything. And then after he talked with the lady, she sent me an email with all the information, and I was like, well, why didn't I get this
Why is
before?
this so hard?
Yeah. And I looked at the email, and it looked like they added the word mail to my email address. Um,
Oh.
so I don't know if that was the problem, though, because that was sent like 30 minutes after he talked to her. So I have no idea. But the good news is, thanks to the uh, kind help of fellow
Travelers, the
travelers.
Frenchies.
Yes, yeah, very nice French guys. We were able to get checked in, and the apartment was
Nice.
nice, and it was all good. But yeah, we spent like 30 minutes like on the doorstep with, you know, getting getting the help that we needed from customer service, but did not
Yeah.
from just fellow travelers. So
Just the stress of all of
yes,
that
yes.
is like, it's so much. And especially, I would imagine, as you, the planner, and I'm sure the girlfriend is like,
She was like, "Oh no, are we gonna be sleeping on the street?" I'm like, "No, I already double checked that there's a Holiday Inn right around the corner,
there
that
you
we
go.
have rooms available. We would check into that. It would be very expensive, but we're not gonna sleep on the street,
There
basically."
you
So,
go. Well, that's
um,
good. All right.
yeah,
So that, like, almost, you were anticipating that that was going to be stressful. Like, you
yes,
knew that that
yep.
was going to be stressful.
Yep.
So,
And I was not able to get a resolution until the very absolute last second.
oh, all right. So that's not bad. What about like the roses? I mean, you posted on your social media a bit about all these amazing shows that you saw.
Yeah.
Um, so was that a rose? Like, what was the
So many roses.
a bouquet?
Yes, a bouquet. Yeah. I got to say, this was my first time going to Bath, England. And
Hmm.
we really had a great time in Bath. It was, unfortunately, we only had one full day there
Okay.
because we arrived kind of late at night the day before, and then we had to catch a train the day after. So we had one full day in Bath, but it's a beautiful little city, and it's a really beautiful architecture. There's the Roman baths there, which is
Hmm.
where it takes its name from. And
Oh, yeah, that
yeah,
makes sense. Or
lots of great museums, good restaurants, very walkable. So a really cool little town that I was like, damn, I got to get back here. I wish we had more time. Um,
interesting.
yeah, so that was a lot of fun, and of course, all the shows that I got to see were amazing too. Because I saw artists that you just can't see over here that I've been fans of for years and years and years. And so in Paris, I got to see the Wooden Tops, one of my favorite bands of all time, and I happen to be friends with the singer and main songwriter. And
Oh,
so
okay.
yeah, I got to, like, 5 or 6 years ago, I got to hang out with him at his house for a few hours, and that was really cool. But I'd still never seen them live,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it was like to finally cross that off my list was wonderful. And I got to see some. It'll get real nerdy here with obscure musical artists
Okay. It's
that
okay. I'm
nobody
not going
else
to
is
yuck
going
your
to know.
yum.
But yeah, I saw Noel Burke in Glasgow. And for folks that don't know, he was the singer for Echo and the Bunnymen for a short period of time. When their original singer left the band, they put out one album that basically the Echo and the Bunnymen have spent 20 years kind of disavowing, even though it's one of their best, just because it doesn't have the original singer. It's
Right.
an anomaly. So I never
Well,
thought,
and that's the book that you were reading. You've been reading for a while.
oh, well, the
Like,
guitarist, Will Sargent. Yeah.
yeah.
And he was in the band on this album and
Okay.
wrote a lot of it. So the idea that I would ever get to hear these songs live was just like something I didn't even, dare to think about. But to get to hear them live and done magnificently in a small club in Glasgow was
That's cool.
really, really cool. Yeah. And of course, I got to see Edwyn Collins. Your casual listener may know him from his worldwide smash hit, A Girl Like You. But he also has a long history and many other hits. In the UK, he had a band called Orange Juice that were very formative to alternative music in the 80s. And for people that don't know, he had a brain hemorrhage like 20 years ago.
Wow.
And so he's been gradually recovering from that for the last 20 years. But he's decided to retire because she's like getting up there in ages. Uh, he was doing kind of a farewell tour.
Okay.
So we went to Southampton, England, which was the only place that it was not sold out on this tour.
Wow.
So we had great seats, great view of the performance, and they sounded fantastic. Edwin and his band. So that was a real touching thing. Um, and I got to see a singer called Malcolm Middleton, who's a Scottish artist in Paris, again in a tiny club, where I was just right in front of him. Got to talk to him, and it was great. And I also got to see in London a band called The Divine Comedy, who again are extremely popular in the UK. I managed to get tickets, even though the show had been long sold out. And he was actually doing two back-to-back sold-out nights at this place called the Barbican Center,
Hmm.
and a really very cool theater there. So we had again fantastic seats that we just lucked into,
I
and
love that.
it was a wonderful show with a great set list. And he's had a long career too, so there was no way we were going to hear all the songs that we wanted to hear, but it was still really good. And in this case, the girlfriend is also a fan of the Divine
Hey, there we
Comedy,
go.
so yeah, so she was happy to come along. And she was a fan of Edwin Collins as well, so she enjoyed herself at that show too. So, yeah, boy, so many highlights. But
That's so
yeah,
cool. Um, yeah, did she go to all the shows with you, or did she just go to the ones that she's a fan of too?
no, well, pretty much just the ones that she's a fan of.
Okay.
But she did come with me, not on purpose, to the Noel Burke show in Glasgow. And that was because when we flew in, we got hit by a storm in Glasgow called Storm Amy, that was really hitting Northern Ireland and Scotland. And when we first we were delayed because we couldn't get an Uber to get us to the hotel. And that took a while. So we finally, and meanwhile, I'm trying to make this gig. We're getting in
Right.
like 6 o'clock. We were delayed an extra half hour with the plane where they said, I swear to goodness, they said, uh, um, sorry, folks, we've just had to reset the plane. I'm like, I don't know what kind of janky Windows 7
Yeah, right? We just unplug
operating
it
system that
and
they're
we
running,
plug it back in.
but they literally had to reset the plane operating system,
Oh my God.
reboot it, and that took a half hour. I guess some updates, in there. You know how it goes.
Like, sorry, you need iOS like
That's right.
57.
That's right. So we're a half hour delayed, and but luckily that went relatively smooth. But as soon as we hit, this storm hit, and so we were like kind of like standing in like pouring rain and wind, waiting for our car to
Oh
take
my
us
God.
to the hotel. So that was just not a great way to, be welcomed by Glasgow. Not their
Yeah,
fault by
right?
any stretch.
Of
But then
course.
we get to the hotel, and they're like, "Hey, we've been trying to reach you all day. Unfortunately, with the storm, we've got like people staying late, staying over a little longer than anticipated, so we don't have a room for you." And I'm just like kind of like in a daze, like okay, go
Oh my God.
go on. And then they're like, but listen, we've called around, and we can't find any rooms in town for you, but we did find a place about 45 minutes out of the city that
Oh my
we're
God.
we booked for you, and we're happy to bring you there with a cab. And I'm like, I'm trying to make a gig here in like 30 minutes. And
Oh God.
they're like, okay, well, we can take you to the gig. And I'm like, well, she wants to go take a nap. That talking about the girlfriend. Can she go by herself? And they're like, sure. And she's like, no, I'm not going by myself out of town. I'm like,
In a
okay,
cab with some
yes,
rando.
right, right. I'm like, that makes total sense. So they're like, well, okay, well, we'll take you both to the show. And here's a free drink while you wait for the cab. And I'm like, okay. And so they whisked us to the concert. I got there 30 seconds before it started. Completely missed the opener, but that's okay. So I go home, going up front, watch the show, and then we'll go back and we'll get checked into our new hotel. Uh,
So was she like in the lobby, slumped on a chair, sleeping
no, she was actually in the
in
little
the venue?
performance venue. Yeah.
Okay.
But basically, yeah, slumped over sleeping.
At a girl. I know
Yeah.
I liked the girlfriend.
Yeah, she was not stoked about this situation at all,
Yep.
which I
Hmm.
totally understand because she was thinking I'm going to be able to take a shower and relax and just not have to listen to loud music for 2 hours that
Right.
I don't have interest in. But for me, it was just like so amazing again for to see this show, and I
Of
just the fact
course.
that I arrived there in just enough time was like
Yeah.
very lucky. And so after the show, we got back to the hotel. Um, and they're like, okay, so it's really busy out there with the storm. And also, the hotel was directly next to like the equivalent of the Tacoma Dome, essentially. So it was just packed with people. So it was like crazy. And they're like, okay, so if you can just relax, we'll get you a cab here in a few minutes and we'll take you to the other hotel. And we're like, okay. So finally the cab comes and we're riding for 45 minutes, like they said. No idea where we're going.
Right. Like they're taking you to kill you.
Right. So we get to this place and it turns out it's this like 5-star resort that's on Loch Lomond, which is one of Scotland's most famous lakes. And I had planned on taking a day trip to Loch Lomond. Um, so I was just like, oh wow! So we get in, and it's like really nice. They gave us like bathrobes and slippers and stuff,
Oh
and
my God.
it's like super fancy. And they're like, oh, one of the 5 restaurants that we have you can go to for the breakfast in the morning and everything. And I'm like, wow! I don't think I even booked breakfast with the hotel that we originally stayed at. And they're like, so this
Whatever.
this is your this is your credit card details. I'm like, these aren't my credit card details. They're like, oh no, this is for the other hotels. Okay, so they're paying the bill. So I was like, okay, cool. As long as I'm
They're
not
like
paying it.
mini bar, breakfast,
Right.
cocktails, late night
Yes.
snack, spa treatment.
Yes. I didn't do any of that, uh but so basically we didn't know like, okay, are we staying here now? And which I was happy to do because it was a deluxe place. Um
Sure.
so and they didn't say we've only got you checked in for one night and checkouts at 11 or anything like that. So we're just like, okay, great. Well, it's midnight, so let's go to bed. And then the next day we go have breakfast and it's amazing, great breakfast. And then we're like, well, maybe we'll go use the pool. Meanwhile, it's storming outside, so we can't really go and walk around the lake or anything fun like we wanted
Right.
to. But I'm like, well, maybe we'll go, use the pool and stuff, and but let's take a nap first. So then like 1:30 rolls around and a lady knocks on the door and she's like, oh, I had this room as being empty after 11. And I'm like, well, we don't know. We haven't heard anything from the other hotel. And they're
Right.
like, and she's like, oh, okay, well, I'll check on that. And then so like a half hour goes by and we get a phone call from the front desk saying, hey, we're all booked up for tonight and checkout was at 11. So I'm like, uh-huh. They're like, so if you wanted to stay, we can't really accommodate.
Oh my
We've got a big
God.
wedding going on and all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, well, can you call our other hotel?
And
And they're
like,
like, oh, yeah, we can do that. So they call and then they call us back and they're like, yeah, they have a room for you. They're going to send a cab. It's going to be fine. So I'm like, well, I guess we better get out of here before they throw us out. So we hurry up and pack up and then wait for the cab. And then it cleared up a little bit so that we could actually go outside and check out Loch Lomond. And it was gorgeous. And so then the cab finally comes and we get the ride back to Glasgow. And I noticed like the cab fare was like 175 pounds. So, and
oh
they
my
had just
God.
paid that from the night before too. So there's no way they made money on this endeavor.
No.
So
Wow.
so and then when we got to the hotel in Glasgow, they were like, so we've upgraded you to a corner room now, and we've got breakfast set up for you in the morning. And
They felt bad.
yeah, they did. And then so we had a much nicer room, thankfully, when we got finally checked in for the night. And yeah, it had a great view of the river and the city and stuff. And they had left a nice note saying, we're so sorry, and here's a couple drinks on us. And so yeah, that part was nice. I felt like they really went out of their way to make up for the fact that they kind of left us hanging there. um, so it ended up being kind of cool. But the fact that it was kind of stormy the whole weekend while we were there
Yeah.
meant that we didn't get to enjoy it as much as we would have liked to. But it was still a fun time. And we got to check out the Kelvin Grove Museum, which is a really cool museum in Glasgow that's got
Okay.
like a little bit of everything: art, natural history stuff, dinosaurs, all that, all in one, just really big, gorgeous museum.
Loch
And
Ness.
they did not have, yeah,
They don't have their
they don't have
version.
Nessie, no. But also we went and checked out, like right across the street from our hotel was this Tutankhamun exhibit that was,
Like the OG?
yeah, the OG, yeah, the mummy,
Wow.
Tutankhamun. That,
That was like the 80s.
well, I mean, yeah, that it was the 40s or the 20s when he was discovered. But yeah,
Right.
Tutankhamun fever has yet to leave us. um,
That's crazy.
but they had this really interesting virtual reality display that, well, neither of us had done virtual reality stuff before. So this was like really kind of interesting. And yeah, it was a really cool exhibit that we just happened to be there for, and it was just right across the street. So we went and checked it out, and it was really cool. So we had a good time at that. So yeah, I mean, you just never know what you're going to stumble into, but sometimes those are the big highlights of any trip like this. Yeah.
Totally. You have
Yeah,
to be flexible and willing to pivot on all of it.
absolutely.
Oh, that's so cool. And did you say that your girlfriend has not been to these places before? This was the first time?
She had been with me like 11 years ago. We actually went to Glasgow, and it was much nicer weather. So
Okay.
she had a great time before. So I thought, hey, this will be cool for us to revisit a place that we both loved. But little did I know we were going to get hit with like this big storm, and it was a big storm. Like when we were in the cab going to the gig, like it was shaking, like
Wow.
like this. I'm like, oh, did not
You're
expect.
like,
Did not expect to be white knuckling it in a
But
cab.
you, nothing was going to keep you away from seeing Noel.
That's right. Yep. Yep.
Well, that's good. Did you bring back any souvenirs?
Yes. Well, this again shows what kind of a dweeb I am, but I was so excited that at the luxury resort that we were staying at, they had little jars of brown sauce, which is something that you only occasionally find here in the States imported. It's been a while since I've seen it in a store. So I'm like, well, I'm over there. I'm going to get myself some brown sauce. But of course, with the liquid regulations, getting it back on an airplane is,
Right.
impossible. Believe me, I've been busted before trying to smuggle brown sauce home.
Oh my gosh, you're ridiculous.
I know. I was arguing with the equivalent of Irish TSA, like about how this is not
Oh my
really
god.
a liquid, it's a sauce and it's completely sealed. And she's like, well, it's probably not good for you anyway. I'm like,
That's not the point.
that's not the point. Yes.
Oh my god.
So they had like little mini jars of it. So I was able to just steal a couple of those or help myself to a couple of those.
They were there.
They were there.
They were offered.
Part of breakfast that I could bring home. And so I was excited about that. And I got some socks and some chocolate in Iceland that
Oh,
we
did you
brought
see the
back.
Northern Lights?
Did not see the Northern Lights.
Ah.
It was a little bit cloudy, but I did nearly run over some ding dongs trying to watch the Northern Lights in the parking lot of our hotel.
I was like, is that a native animal? And then I'm like, no, not dingo, ding dongs.
That's right. They were all like, oh, like looking up, and I'm just like, beep beep, trying to pull into a parking space. And
Oh
they
my
had
gosh.
convinced like 10 other people with them to be out there in the parking lot looking up at the skies while we're trying to pull in. It's just like, I
I'm
really
like,
don't want.
definitely see something.
Yes. Yeah. So, I mean, we looked, but did not see really anything. But that's okay. Like I said, I've seen better Northern Light displays before. So it was fine. Um, but yeah, and speaking of Iceland, there was another maybe thorn on this trip where because I rented a car for the first time in a foreign country,
How'd that
um,
go?
it actually went pretty smooth. But the interesting thing is the car that I rented had this like system where it would tell you like if you're speeding or if it'll beep like if you exceed the speed limit and it'll beep if you're going under the speed limit. So it was like both, oh, this is extremely helpful because the speed limit here in Iceland changes like every mile.
Yeah.
But also this is the most annoying thing ever because it beeps like every
It's like
mile.
having a robot backseat driver.
That's right. Yeah. So I've got this system that's like beeping at me the whole way. And I'm just like, what the heck? While I'm trying to like
Navigate and figure out where you're going.
acclimate myself to, driving in a foreign land. And I ended up using 3 different navigation services. Of course, Google Maps, Apple Maps, and the built-in satellite navigation system that they use or that was in the car. And that system was like hilarious because it was like so overly polite that it was really funny. And it was
You
just
might want to consider turning left.
exactly, yes. It
Or
was
like
just
it's up to you.
it's like, if possible, please make a U-turn. It was like, okay, ma'am. Because you asked so nicely.
Oh my gosh,
and
that's funny.
and instead of saying slight right, which why wouldn't you go with slight right? Uh, I think they said they had a different phrase for it, which was like part right, I think. And so I'm like, what? And then I kind of realized, oh, okay, this is slight right, or slight left,
There you
Um,
go.
so yeah, there was those funny little things, but we drove out into the country to go and see Gullfoss waterfall, which is a huge, gorgeous waterfall that's out in the middle of nowhere. That's like a national heritage site,
Okay.
and so I'm like, the girlfriend's got to see this. This is an amazing feature of Iceland. So we drove out to check it out, and on the way back, we got hit with some heavy fog. And so I'm like, oh crap, kind of white knuckling it here. Meanwhile, the
Yeah.
car's
Yeah.
going
Stressful.
beep, 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 beep as I
You're like,
go down.
beep, 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 beep.
Yes. And it had like lane assist, which is nice, which was kind of helpful. But when we got to like the thickest part of the fog, where I'm just like trying to see the guy in front of me's lights so I can make sure, because I figured they know the road better than me. I'll just try and maintain. The little system for the car was like, you're on your own. It's like, sorry, pal. And it even had like a little icon of like a car crash. And I'm like,
Oh my God.
I'm like, thanks for all the help.
Oh my God. Like, sorry.
Yeah, then
You're
pretty
out.
much. That's right. It's like, I'm out of here. So I'm like, white knuckling it through the fog for about an hour. And then finally broke through that, and everything was fine. And then the little system came back on. Beep, beep, beep.
Oh my God.
This is so helpful.
Oh my God. It's always an adventure.
It was a real adventure, yes. But it was a good time.
That's so good. I'm so glad. And did you like actually sleep, or do you need a vacation now that you're back from vacation?
We did manage to get, decent sleep, but probably not anywhere near what we would have had at home, because there was all the traveling, different beds, having to get up early for planes, trains, and automobiles and stuff.
Right. And
So
Ubers and
yeah,
cabs. And
when I got home, pretty much all I did was sleep all day for a day. And I'm still a little bit foggy a couple days after.
yeah, well,
But I think,
fair.
yeah, by next week should be back to normal. So
It's like traveling and like the time differences and stuff is brutal.
it really can be, yeah.
I mean, it's like, and when you get to wherever you're going, the adrenaline rush is like you rally because you're like, yes. But then on the way home, you're like, no.
Right? Yeah.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Oh my gosh. All right. We're probably overdue for a break. Yeah.
Yeah, long overdue, but we'll just do one break for this episode. And then when we come back, we can maybe I did actually cross off a cultural blind spot or two. So we could talk about that. But we can also get to our top topic in the next segment as well.
If we don't get to it,
Which
we can be impulsive.
Yeah, I was going to say I've completely forgotten what. You've just reminded me with that an impulsive purchase. Very cleverly done.
Thank you very much.
That's our top topic. So
I mean, if we don't get to it, like, hello, there's next time. So
Absolutely.
Let's take a quick break here, and then when we come back, because I have a cultural blind spot that I checked off.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah. All right, keep listening. We'll be right back with more Don't Ask Me to Talk.
Stay tuned.
Hey, I'm Stacey Heller. I'm one of your podcast pals, along with Eric Ryder from Don't Ask Me to Talk. Are you liking what you're listening to? Awesome. We would love if you would follow us on social media. We're on Facebook and Instagram as Don't Ask Me to Talk. We also are wherever you find your favorite podcasts. You can follow us, subscribe, like, rate, whatever it is that you do. You can also email us. That's asking@don'taskmetotalk.com. And if you'd like, text or leave us a voicemail at 475-999-2726. Basically, we'd love to hear from you. Thanks for listening.
And we're back right here on Don't Ask Me to Talk. I'm one of your podcast pals. I'm Eric Ryder.
Hey, I'm the other one. I'm Stacey Heller.
Yeah.
And before the break, we heard all about your trip, but sounds like you somehow managed to still check something off the cultural blind spot list.
Yeah, because, movies on planes.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
I did get to see some stuff.
And they're free. Well, for the cost of admission, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. First, I was going to say I was checking through the movies, and on Icelandair they had Shawshank Redemption. I'm like, hey, I've never seen that.
I haven't seen that either.
People talk about that movie a lot, it seems like. And I know Morgan Freeman is in it, and it seems like, yeah, this is a big one. So maybe I'll check it out. So I go to watch it, and they had it in like the old TV format, so it wasn't even full screen, and it's already a small screen. So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to save that one for later. But they did have The Fugitive with Harrison Ford, which I've never seen.
That's so good. And Tommy Lee Jones?
Yes, Tommy Lee Jones, a baby Tommy Lee Jones, who already looked like an old man, but I
know.
I can't think of a movie that he was in before The Fugitive. I think that was the movie that made his name, essentially, and launched 1,000 other Tommy Lee Jones roles.
Mm-hmm. Probably.
Yeah. And a lot of people are in this movie too. Like Jane Lynch is in it in a bit part. Yeah. And yeah.
That's crazy.
It's got a Joey Pants. He's in it. Joey Pantalone he's in it. Yeah, a lot of people. So this was an interesting one. I mean, I enjoyed it. It's the perfect kind of dumb fare for a plane ride. I find myself much more susceptible to emotions and stuff while I'm up in the air for some reason. Like one of the other flights, I watched Paddington in Peru, and it's a kid's movie. I've seen the other two Paddington movies, and I enjoy them, but it's this kind of like, okay, a little cheesy, but still fun. But I swear I was like tearing up, like watching.
Oh, that's so cute.
Paddington, like he rescued his aunt. Oh my god. Just like,
oh my god, I'm dead.
The treasure is really orange trees. It's not gold. It's and so the girlfriend's watching, like just glancing over, and she's starting to tear up even though she's not even listening to the movie. Or even really watching it, just seeing a little bit of it was just like, we're all both like in an emotional state high up in the air. And the funny thing about that is we also went to a little town called Salisbury for an afternoon so we could go to Stonehenge.
Okay.
And that's a huge cultural blind spot. But
yeah, oh my god, yeah.
But they have a statue of Paddington on a park bench there, and so we sat and took our pictures with Paddington, and it was really cute. So yes,
look at you big softy.
Yes, it was a big softy. So The Fugitive, for anybody that still cares. This is a fun movie. The concept is so far-fetched. I know it was based on a TV series, and I remember as a kid in the 80s they were running repeats of this. Dr. Richard Campbell is pursuing the one-armed man who murdered his wife, and he was falsely accused of murder. And then basically they took like I don't know how long this show was on for, like 10 years of him searching for the one-armed man, and they condensed this into a 2-hour movie with Harrison Ford as Dr. Richard Campbell. And he escapes and he solves the murder and he has time, since he's a doctor, to save the lives of like 50 people along the way in the movie. Just to hammer home that he's innocent and a good person. In case you had any doubts.
I mean, and, and Tommy Lee Jones was like,
Yes.
I don't care. I'm after my man.
That's the scene that definitely gets referenced in pop culture a lot. Is that he's chasing Harrison Ford through a tunnel, and it's an underwater tunnel, and it's draining out into these huge waterfalls. And
Hmm.
yeah, he's like, I didn't murder my wife. And Tommy Lee Jones, as a U.S. Marshal, is like, I don't care. And then
Hmm.
Harrison Ford like jumps out of the tunnel into the waterfall, and then somehow miraculously survives. And
Like you do.
yeah, and he had already survived the prison truck getting hit by a train and various other hardships. So it's all like, he's like, yeah, unlucky, lucky, unlucky, lucky, unlucky, lucky. Through the whole movie. It's just
Uh-huh.
like, ooh, is this going to be unlucky or unlucky each scene? But
Uh-huh.
yeah, it's the perfect kind of fare for a plane ride, because it's fast paced and fun, and
And you're
everybody in
just
it is
invested
good.
enough.
Yeah, you're just invested enough. But if you start to really think about this plot for more than 5 minutes, then forget it. But when your brain is in high altitude and you got less oxygen going, it's like, damn, this is the best movie ever.
Totally.
Yeah.
Oh my God, are you kidding? Like, and it makes me happy that your girlfriend like was tearing up when you were watching Paddington in Peru, because that kind of stuff happens to me all the time where I'm like, I'm not going to watch a movie. I'm going to try to fall asleep, or I'm going to read. And then I
Yeah.
start watching what somebody else is watching, and I'm like, the guy and the dog, like, what?
Exactly. And there was like so many times where I was like watching something, and then I couldn't help but have FOMO based on looking over at other people's screens like, oh, that looks good. And I ended
I
up
know.
scrapping one movie that I was watching because the girlfriend was watching something that looked more interesting. Then I switched over to her movie twice on different flights because I'm like, that looks way better than this.
Well, and some of the movies, like they're maybe like really like old, but they're new, and you're like, oh my God, I kind of wanted to see that when it came out, and like I
Mm-hmm.
get to see it. Yeah, like I do you sleep on planes?
No, I can't sleep.
Yeah, my husband can't sleep either. I sleep for like bits of time,
Hmm.
but he's like up and glued to the screen the entire time. And, so he sees a ton of things. And, occasionally I'm like, I'm going to watch a documentary.
Yeah,
Documentaries are good on a plane too.
right. That could help put you to sleep too.
I mean, sometimes, yes. All right, well that's a good one. The Fugitive is a good one.
Yeah, I think so. That's a big one that, like, for whatever reason at the time, I just like, yeah, whatever. But, I was glad to finally check that off the big list, because it is one that gets referenced a lot in pop culture, both the TV series and the movie. But I feel like if you've seen the movie, that's enough to get all the references, really. But it does remind me of, I do kind of wonder on your take on this. Um, uh, Talking about like watching these movies on a plane, how you feel about the reclining seat controversy. Because I did not really have a strong opinion about it until this trip, where I just saw people without a care completely lean back right into other people's laps while they're trying to eat, while they're trying to watch movies, while they're just trying to live their lives, and basically and suddenly have some the person in front of them seat completely on them. um
Mhm.
and I just think, like, airlines need to remove that recline feature. I don't think it's making anybody that much more comfortable, but it is making the person right behind you miserable. And if there's not somebody behind you, I think recline away. But
Mhm.
if you're on a full flight, we're living in a society. I say
Well,
this a lot, and you need to think about your fellow man. And I just think there's a lot of people that just don't care about anybody else's experience. They just care about their own. And this is like the most obvious example that I was, seeing on these flights. Like a guy next to me on our flight to Iceland, really tall guy. And first of all, I think if you're a real tall person, don't skimp on the luxury.
yeah, I know.
Go
If you
for it.
can help it,
You can
man.
afford it. It's worth springing for because he looks so uncomfortable. But then, like
Mhm.
on top of that, person right in front of him,
Oh my
and he's
gosh.
practically like leaning over their head, Wow. And I'm
Oh,
just thinking,
see.
like, that looks miserable.
Yeah, and I guess my thing is if I've splurged, like
Mhm.
for instance, with leaving to go to Europe, I splurged on like I'm not first class by any stretch. I'm
Right.
I'm like that mid zone where there's a little bit more room. So if there's a little bit more space, I might recline, but very often I just sort of forget. But on when I typically travel, especially domestic, and I am like in the back of the bus,
Yeah.
no, I don't recline. Like,
Right.
what are you, nuts?
Yeah.
Like, no, that's crazy and it's rude. And, honestly, it's another reason why I'm like, I got to lose weight. Because I'll tell you what, if you gain some weight and you're traveling on a plane,
Right.
suddenly you just feel that much more boxed in. And I'm
Yeah.
like, you know how I could get more like space?
Right.
Take up less space.
True. And the airlines have really gotten it to the bare minimum of space for each person in economy now, to the point where, like, if they shaved off 1 more inch, people would be rioting in the plane.
It's
They've like
crazy.
scientifically figured out exactly the circumference of space that they could give you
Hmm.
without you absolutely losing your mind.
Hmm.
And so to have that, people leaning back into that space, is like pushing it that much closer to absolute insanity, I think.
It's horrible. And the whole like middle seat controversy of like the armrest and everything.
Yeah.
And like I get it. Like if you're on the window, you can kind of lean into the window space. But if you're on the aisle, like you just get constantly hit by people
Right.
and the carts and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So like yes, you're in the middle seat and that's a bummer. And so you want to have the armrest, but also like I don't have any place to go.
Right. Right.
I'm like riding the wall if I sit on the window.
Yeah, I mean,
Like
I think most people are in agreement that the middle seat, like the armrest, should go to the middle seat person. Um, and I mean, obviously, if there's no person there, then both people can on the aisle and the window can stretch out. I was in the middle seat on pretty much all our flights because I deferred to the girlfriend. I'm like, whatever you're going to be more comfortable, go for.
mhm.
And I gotta say, it wasn't a problem. I was able to kind of put my elbows down on both sides, and it was fine.
There you
um
go.
yeah. But that seat recline thing, that really, like, it wasn't even affecting me. I think I got the recline on one short flight, and I was just like, this guy. But it was more about seeing other people having to
Yeah.
deal with it.
And people just like the minute they can, they're like, whoop.
Hmm.
And there is something like there's the slow, guilty recline, which is somehow better because you know that the person's like, man, I know this stinks, but like also, like, I'm going to do it. But then there's the people that are just so unapologetically like, zip, and they go right back.
Brazen. Yeah.
So brazen. So brazen. Meanwhile, I'm like, may I have some more water, please?
Yes.
I one time was able to get into first class, and I was like Pete's advice, because he's traveled first class before, like work things or whatever it is. He's
Right.
like, say yes to everything. And I was like, I don't even want to sleep. What if they walk by with a cookie? Like, I gotta say yes. Like, blanket, yes. Cookies, yes. Water, yes. Coffee, I don't even drink it. Yes.
Right.
Like, yes, yes, yes. And then I would like get double of things, and you can get access to snacks, and I'd sneak them back to Pete.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of snacks, I'll give this piece of advice. Be careful what you order. Like last time I flew Iceland Air, I was like, this is an international flight. Of course they're going to give me a meal. So I didn't pre-order anything. And then I was starving when I arrived and had not gotten a meal.
Oh my gosh.
And because by the time I realized, oh, I guess I have to order something, it was too late for that. So like I just arrived in Iceland, just like completely famished. So this time around, I ordered meals ahead of time for
Hey.
all of our flights, which was great, and the food was actually pretty decent for all of them. But one flight, I got a steak and mushroom barbecue sandwich that I took one bite and it like basically exploded. So I had steak and mushroom covered in barbecue sauce completely dribbled down my shirt and just all over me. Meanwhile, I got a recliner right on top of me while I'm trying to eat my steak and mushrooms thing covered in barbecue sauce. And I'm like,
that's the worst.
Crying from watching Paddington in Peru. And I'm just like
taking your shirt and getting barbecue on your eyes.
I am a hot mess right now. Literally. I hope this is not being recorded. So then I snuck off into the bathroom and did my best to kind of, paper towel myself down to get to cover up.
You're making me rethink my travel outfit for tomorrow.
Well, as long as you don't get an explosive sandwich, you should be fine.
Right. Okay. I'm like, gosh, I was trying to be like travel girl cute, but I might need a bib.
It's not a bad idea. I was thinking about like next time maybe I'll put one of those plastic lobster bibs in my luggage so I could just pull that out for the meal just in case I get one of those again.
There you go. That works.
But I had no idea when I was like ordering it, like, 3 months ahead of time, steak and mushroom. This sounds good. Beep, and it's like one bite.
Oh my God. Yikes. That's awful. But was it good?
It was delicious.
There you go.
What was left of it was fantastic. So maybe it was worth it.
Saved it, sucked on it for later on your shirt.
Yes. Yes.
Oh my gosh. All right.
So yeah, we're running out of time, but you had a cultural blind spot.
I watched Citizen Kane.
Oh, wow. That's a big one. You had never seen it before?
No. It was weird.
It's one of those movies that is almost universally acclaimed as the greatest movie ever made. It's, if you look at the AFI top 100 list, it's always at number one. And it's one of those movies that, film professors always like to, point out as being this amazing masterpiece that's never been topped. And I think I'm like you when I watched this movie. It's been a while, but I've tried to watch it a couple times since. I fell asleep.
I'm like, what?
Totally wanted to love it. Totally wanted to love it when I watched it, but yeah.
I mean, and I just couldn't get the premise of like why the kid is like ripped away from the mom, and like, so here's a bunch of like, you're going to be raised by this guy, and like, you're going to go off and do these things, and he's like, yeah, but I'm doing it my way. And I'm going to screw you all in the end. And so it was like the whole first 15, 20 minutes is like the newsreel of his death.
Right.
And so then you're essentially going back to learn more about all these
Yeah.
things and these ages and stages.
Right.
And then in the end, you're like, oh, so that's Rosebud. All
Yes.
right. I mean,
Which at this point is pretty hard to have not had the sled being Rosebud, completely that as spoiled. If you know anything about this movie,
right.
yeah. So that it does not come as any kind of surprise by anybody
No.
watching it in 2025. You all
And-
know the twist.
And you watch the movie and
Yeah.
you see the beginning where he's playing with his sled, and you're like, there's got to be more to this. They're
Right.
going to reference this.
Yeah.
Like, there's going to be something that just keeps going back to it.
This-
and you're like,
Some pivotal scene where it's like, okay, the sled saved his life or whatever.
yep,
Nope.
nope.
He's just
No.
pining for those days of youth, like we all do.
Yep. So, the kinder, gentler times. So saw it and not much to say except,
Right. Well, you're kind of making me want to check it out again because so many people declare it a masterpiece. There's got to be something to it that I'm missing, I feel like. But every time I try and watch this, I'm just like, I feel like I should just pull this up every time I've got insomnia because it literally just puts me to sleep so quickly, like nothing else.
Yeah, and sometimes I'm okay with being part of the uninformed masses. You
Right.
know, I'm like, this one, I'm okay.
It's a big one though. Now you can say you've seen it and you get the references, and there you go. You don't have to love every one of these things. That's on. There's a reason why we've avoided some of these sometimes. That's what I find.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I started watching it on a plane, of all things. And so then I had to watch the last little bit when I got home. And I was like, I'm in this thing. I'm watching it.
Right.
So, so I can't wait to see what I see on my plane trip when I travel.
It is a nice thing. I mean, Iceland Air, I got to give them kudos for having really good entertainment screens. Now it's all touchscreen. It's like
Nice.
they're bigger than they used to be. They've got Bluetooth connections now.
Okay.
So yeah, it's getting fancier. They seem to be making up for the confined quarters by improving their entertainment system. Which, hey, I'll take whatever I can get at this point because I can barely walk down the aisle without getting whacked. I think a guy accidentally, not even accidentally, but his arm hanging out in the aisle whacked me in the nuts as I'm walking back to my seat, and I apologized to him.
Oh my God.
Because it's just so
like horrible
confined. Yes.
Oh my God.
So yeah, that's maybe something I'm going to be researching a little more next time I book international travel, because they have really just chiseled away at space and planes now.
And it chisels away at your spirit.
It does, yeah. And if you're on a flight that's more than 4 hours, then it really does, make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
But
totally.
Yeah. All that said, still worth it. Had a great time. Loved it.
Amazing.
And, we're essentially out of time. There's so many more stories I could tell, but we'll save that for the future. And I can't wait to hear about your amazing trip.
Yeah, me
Italy.
too.
Yeah.
It'll be great. I will be hobbling around a little bit, but worst case scenario, I'm an excellent manager.
Yeah. And so just quickly, for our top topic, which was best impulse purchase, I'm wondering if you can think of any real quick before we say goodbye today.
Typically it is like it's not a small thing. It's like the impulse to buy a piece of art or something where I'm like, I'm just going to do this. And I have found that it's actually my favorite. It sort of coincides with travel. It's my favorite souvenir of places that I've been. And it's like, you know, just to pick something up from wherever it is that I've been. And it's become an impulse that's now planned, because what started as an impulse has now become a way to commemorate my trips. So that first time that I did it, definitely the best. Also, a candy bar is a great impulse purchase.
I got to say, I had an impulse purchase in the airport in Keflavik in Iceland before we went home, where I'm like, oh, is this an Icelandic candy bar? This looks interesting. I got to try this, because it was chocolate and licorice, which I'm like, this is either going to be disgusting or amazing. And turned out it was pretty amazing.
Hey,
yeah, so that was
that's
a fun
good.
little impulse buy. And the girlfriend even, I think, had a nice impulse buy on this trip too, because at the Barbican Center where we saw the Divine Comedy in London, they had a really cool gift shop with all this neat stuff. And we kind of split up. And then when we got our seats at the show, I noticed she had a hand fan that she bought at the shop. And I'm like, and it was so warm in the venue. And she's like, whoop, whoop. I'm like, that was so smart.
Yeah.
What a great souvenir, and a great, just a practical thing to have for this show. And then when we were on the plane and it was super hot, she's all whoop, whoop, whoop with the fan. And I'm like, damn it, why didn't I do that? So smart.
That girl.
Yeah. So she had an awesome impulse buy that really paid off.
Nice.
So
good
yeah.
for her.
Yeah.
Which reminds me, I have a fan. I should find that and charge it up for my travels.
And there's or if you get one of the fold-up ones, like this, that's
I can pull out like my diva moment. Like,
exactly.
What did you say?
Right?
Exactly. Nice. I can I can make it work.
Some places they even do martial arts with those things, so you may be able to, you know,
or drag.
Yeah.
I'll be prepared either way.
Well, very good. Well, we are well over time.
If you're listening to this on the radio and you want to get the full version, because inevitably we probably had to cut some, then wherever you listen to your podcast, go and listen to the full version of this episode.
Yep. And so much more that I'll want to talk about in future episodes. And I can't wait to hear about your travels on the next episode as well. So it's going to be more fun on the next Don't Ask Me to Talk. So everybody, have yourself a wonderful week. And thanks for listening.